As a nightmare, wild boars are wreaking havoc on the soil in the state of Oklahoma. They are estimated to have a population that ranges from 600,000 to 1.50 million people, and they have spread across 70 of the state's 77 counties. They are responsible for about $7 million in damage to crops, cattle, and soil each year. On top of that, they are a significant contributor to the spread of diseases that are harmful to both humans and animals. In order to combat this invading species head-on, we will embark on a journey through the forest today, following trails that are muddy and littered with traps. Now, the boars had a significantly higher level of intelligence. In order to escape being seen by the hunter, they were able to successfully withdraw deep into the forest. But we were not deterred by that. After we had hauled our firearms into the forest, the sole action we took was to kill the deserving prey. 15 minutes of silent ambush were followed by the appearance of the first target. It approached in a peaceful manner, as if this were its own land, without any urgency or resistance. While my friend was positioned on the shooting post, he maintained full silence. He then lowered the barrel of the rifle and fired a sharp shot. Despite this, the obstinate boar did not give up. Despite having a strong instinct to survive, it continued to search for a means to escape. Almost instantly, my friend fired a second shot, this time with the intention of killing the victim. A start that is quite unremarkable but yet gratifying. We proceeded with our regular strategies, which included moving around in order to avoid leaving any traces behind and to broaden our range of view. Right out of nowhere, a rustling sound emanated from the slope. As they approached, a group of wild boars surged forward. When I came to a stop, I raised my rifle, and my heart started to beat faster. The perspective was not accurate. I calmly waited for a hit while holding my breath and keeping my finger on the trigger of the firearm. That is the case. Upon observing a wild boar that had separated itself from the herd and slowed down, I mumbled something to myself. "Howdy," a shot that was nicely hit. As it tumbled down the slope, the wild boar rolled over and flipped over. Wild boars became more cautious in their hiding places as the sun rose. It was necessary for us to crawl through dense shrubs in order to locate new prey. When you are hunting in dense cover, you are continually competing against other hunters, and even the smallest error can cost you the game. On the other hand, it is precisely the tension of walking a tightrope that makes me feel more excited than I ever have before. Within a few short seconds, I was able to take down one of them thanks to my intense focus and rapid reflexes, which I had honed over a number of different battles. For me, nothing else compares to the feeling of pride that I get whenever I achieve a triumph of that nature. Through cautious maneuvering, my friend and I ascended to a higher position in the hopes of capturing the target from a higher vantage point. After only a few minutes had passed, the wild boar unexpectedly materialized at a distance of around 5 meters from us. There were 2 or 3 more times that my friend pulled the trigger because he was unwilling to give it the opportunity to attack. It was the sound of the gunshot that reverberated through the hills of the woodland, putting an end to the prey before it could become deadly. A stressful incident that occurred only a few moments ago made us even more vigilant. An additional shadowy figure materialized. Although it did not appear to be hostile, the boar was nevertheless in a potentially hazardous proximity. There was a single, icy shot that boomed out. There, at the base of the mountain, we gathered together. Roughly 30 minutes remained until the hunt was over. Following that, we would go back to the hamlet, make a fire, and have a modest barbecue in order to share the prizes that we had worked so hard to obtain. Despite the fact that the distance was near and the shooting angle was superb, it only took 1 shot to complete the kill. The second round is not required. The triumph was won by a beautiful victory, and in front of us, the aroma of grilled meat was ready to make our mouths water. It's clear to me now. In recent times, there have been numerous reports of wild boar sightings in the surrounding areas, which has caused my family to feel apprehensive. Our crops, which have been meticulously cultivated, are about to enter harvest season. In the event that the boars make their way through, all of our laborious efforts might be consumed in an instant. Because of this, my fellow community members and I swiftly banded together to arrange a large-scale hunt in order to put a stop to them in a timely manner. We arrived at the base of the mountain during the wee hours of the morning, with our pack of hunting dogs in tow and our weapons slung over our shoulders. Everyone immediately separated themselves and took their positions without wasting any time. A shot was heard approximately 10 minutes into the game. It was obvious that one of our employees had been shot. It was confirmed by a radio station. All of a sudden, a wild boar became free. We were able to determine its location by using the GPS on our phone. That was the case. With my gun elevated, I focused my attention on the boar. It continued to charge in my direction. It was a terrible error. It only required one shot that was very accurate. There was a full collapse of the beast. Upon hearing the dog's ferocious barking, we ran forward in order to cover the entire area. I adjusted my scope and pressed the trigger when I was shooting from a reasonable distance. The boar fell to the ground instantly and lay there unmoving for a while. After 15 minutes of silence, all of a sudden, the dogs began barking in a frantic manner. There is no doubt that they detected the odor. My adrenaline levels skyrocketed as the barking became very loud. In the direction of the target, I focused my attention. It moved in the opposite direction of me. After adjusting my aim, I made the shot. Howdy! The shot was fired. That's it. The pig fell to the ground and couldn't get back up again. It fell right where it was standing. Following our most recent achievement, we proceeded to climb the slope of the mountain. Suddenly, I became aware of a dark figure that was familiar to me in the distance. As soon as it caught sight of us, the boar immediately turned and sprinted away, but we were not going to allow it to get away. The boar was immediately put down after a booming gunshot reverberated through the area. Additionally, there were members of our team stationed at the foot of the mountain. The boar was trying to conceal itself as they got closer to it. The boar was coerced into coming out of hiding as a result of the severe pressure. As soon as it appeared, my friend took a big breath, raised his gun, and locked onto the target. However, he did not hesitate and promptly pulled the trigger once more, even though the initial shot was not sufficient to take him down instantly. At last, the boar lowered itself to the ground and remained motionless there. Before we were able to locate another target, we did not have to wait for very long. After only 10 minutes, a new boar arrived, but we did not immediately begin shooting at it. If you fire too quickly, it can run away at that moment. We, on the other hand, sneaked in slowly and discreetly, waiting for the ideal opportunity to strike. Moreover, there it was. The trigger was pulled by my mutual friend. The bullet penetrated the air and struck the target in the exact middle of the target. There was not even enough time for it to react. In a matter of seconds, collapse. For no apparent reason, my hunting dog began barking in an uncontrollable manner at Dartmouth. A member of our crew was able to locate one additional wild boar as a result of his efforts. As the crew got closer, the boar, which had been engaged in a fierce pursuit with the hounds, became so exhausted that it became utterly drained and collapsed. From that point on, it was simple. A single shot that proved to be pivotal, resulting in a victory that was both clean and rewarding. Despite the fact that I had participated in a number of difficult hunts, the wild boar hunt that took place in the coniferous woods of Siberia stands out as one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Not only were there a great number of boars in this area, but they were also enormous and vicious. Due to the fact that we were going up against such a large group of adversaries, we took extensive preparations before entering this chaotic spectacle. Following their departure from the farm, the group made their way into the wooded setting. The dogs were immediately set free, and they promptly dispersed themselves in order to locate the prey. When I heard the impulse to bark reverberate through the woods, my heart raced as I hurried quickly in the other direction. Immediately after spotting the boar, I fired without any hesitation, so ensuring that it had no opportunity to flee. Just a short distance away, another boar was taken out by the vicious attack of the hounds, as well as a bullet from one of our guns that was aimed just precisely. Almost immediately after that, a number of additional boars were killed. It was tough to aim at some of them because they were running at astonishing speeds and were still at a good distance away. We continued to maintain our resolve and remain focused on our objectives. Within the span of half an hour, we were able to eradicate a sizable number of these potentially deadly boars. When a large boar, easily weighing more than 90 kilos, suddenly emerged from the underbrush and charged across a green field like a black tornado, it was the most unexpected moment that occurred. Although I was taken aback by its speed, I was able to discharge my weapon just in the nick of time. The bullet struck its target and the beast fell to the ground after only a few steps had been taken in confusion. We hunted non-stop until the afternoon and nobody even considered taking a break from our pursuit. There was a steady reverberation of gunshots throughout the peaceful forest, with each shot successfully destroying a target. An electrifying environment prevailed, and the spirit of the team reached an all-time high. A fantastic opportunity presented itself, and the moment was just right to seize it. Sharp and decisive shots brought them down one after another in a matter of seconds, within a very short amount of time. The search proceeded without any interruptions. Despite the fact that the boars became frightened and dispersed, we were nevertheless able to avoid our ice aim. During the subsequent hour, we kept a low profile and quietly surveyed our surroundings. We soon became aware of a herd of wild boars. They charged forward without seeing the trap that was waiting for them. We did not move from our places and waited with bated breath until the prey brought itself into plain view. After that, the crew suddenly started fire, and a barrage of bullets began to pour down on them. In a short amount of time, the silhouettes that were once recognizable turned into nothing more than unmoving black shadows. What you just witnessed was a large-scale wild boar raid, and it was not for the purpose of gaining glory or pleasure. The wild boars, on the other hand, have effectively depleted the resources of the entire Allier region. Located in the middle of France, the region of Allier is characterized by grain farms that extend as far as the eye can see. A wild boar population that has been allowed to grow unfettered in recent years has, however, caused the environment to become seriously disorganized. Worst of all, there is the worry that diseases will spread. Fields have been plowed up, crops have been uprooted, and irrigation systems have been harmed. In the month of October of last year, the local administration made a request for assistance from the hunting community in order to bring the wild boar population under control. The Allier is a region that is regarded to be a hotspot for the density of wild boars, and I, together with over 40 other gunmen, created a hunting group that focused on the Allier. Many groups were formed, with each group consisting of 4 to 6 individuals, and we were each assigned to a certain spot where wild boars are known to wander regularly. In the shadows of the trees, a wild boar materialized. It is possible that it had recognized a threat, which is why it halted and listened. I made the most of the situation and dispatched this hog by opening fire as rapidly as I could. Following the successful capture of the initial wild boar, we proceeded with our ambush, and shortly thereafter, a herd of wild boars materialized. Our good friend Tony fired shots at the pigs. Unfortuitously, the bullet did not hit the target. It had the opposite effect, as it frightened the pigs and caused them to flee more quickly. When Tony realized that he had missed his shot, he expressed his dissatisfaction and declared that he would not let any wild boar escape from the barrel of his pistol. Tony calmly raised his gun and shot down a huge wild boar, perhaps as if to substantiate the statements he had just said. Wow, this is perhaps the largest wild boar that we have been able to kill up to this point. It appears like we are killing a wild boar by ambushing it. There was a large herd of wild boars that had gathered together. We kept shooting, and we were able to kill a significant number of wild boars. We cannot afford to waver. Leaving any behind will cause them to disperse and kill the pigs that are in the surrounding area. The herd of wild boar moved around in disarray. The destroyed ones also fell, and they moved in to ambush the route once they had been destroyed. It is common for wild boars to travel in herds. On the other hand, in order to hunt successfully, we need to be really patient and wait for them to show up.